Welcome to the Hot Mess Express. I did not upload anything on YouTube in the entire month of March. Between being sick and lots of different things happening, my husband started a new job and just it wasn't great. I got sick again. I don't know what is going on with me. But here we are, and we're gonna do just a massive book update. I'll do like a little haul, what I've been reading, what I'm up to, what I'm listening to, all that fun and exciting stuff. So if you'd like to know what I have been reading, feel free to stick around. This is going to be a bit of a long one. I have a huge pile next to me. I'm not kidding. It's right there. That's a hot mess of other things in the corner of my office. But like I said, this is the Hot Mess Express. That is my life right now. That is how I'm feeling. We're just gonna jump into it. Looking at my stack that I've got going on here, the wow, Slaying the Vampire Conqueror by Carissa Broadbent was traditionally published with a brand new dust jacket. My favorite thing about her books is I'm so glad they kept this from the indie published version, is if you take the dust jacket off of it, the standard cover is just super cool. And then they have a quote on the back. So all of her books. So she is the author of The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and this is part of that series. It is a standalone. And if you like vampires and romance and just trials and all that stuff, I highly recommend this series. But the quote on the back of this one is, "To think I let such a dangerous creature sleep beside me every night." I love this. I read this last year, or 2 years ago now, actually. But it's always nice to have a trophy on the shelves. Plus, I couldn't help myself because, like I said, I knew that the actual book itself was going to be beautiful. I still haven't decided if I'm going to display them with or without the dust jackets. But I picked that up. So I'm happy to have that with part of the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I'm currently reading Prisoner's Throne. We are kind of at the midway mark. I did finish The Stolen Heir last month. Technically, it was part of my March wrap up. So I will talk about The Stolen Heir. It's at the bottom of the pile, so I'm not going to grab it. I didn't know that the first book was told through Ren's perspective. That was a little weird to me. I am liking Oak's perspective a lot more in The Prisoner's Throne. I kind of like that we get to see kind of both sides of how they're feeling and where they're at. I like the Cruel Prince trilogy way better than this so far, even though I did rate The Stolen Heir 4 stars. I feel like there's just something missing about this, and this is too, I don't know, I feel like there's a little something missing that I'm not getting out of this duology that I got out of the trilogy. I still enjoy it, I'm still having a good time, but like I said, there is definitely something missing in this that the other book series had. Gonna keep reading it, still having a good time, but it's just not as good as The Cruel Prince. Deep End, as I hit myself in the face, was one of my March hopefuls. I was going to read this, and then I picked up Butcher and Blackbird. I ended up starting to read this, then I listened to the audiobook of this. So Deep End is still on the TBR. I am still on the fence if I'm going to read this or if I'm going to listen to it. I do know that I am going to listen to the other 2 books in the Ruinous Love trilogy as an audiobook. I already have them. I just need to start listening to them. I highly enjoyed this. This was not, I haven't read the bonus chapter. That's what's still in here. This was not a 5-star read. I really was hoping for it to be. I knocked it down a star to a 4-star read simply because I was getting kind of annoyed with the slow burn aspect of it. Because it was really frustrating, and I feel like the actual romance part of it was way late in the 3rd act for me. Still really enjoyed it. Still loved all of the dark stuff in here. I had a really great time listening to it. And like I said, I am going to listen to Leather and Lark and Scythe and Sparrow. I look forward to getting to know the other brothers. I had a fun time, just was not a 5-star read for me. This is some book mail. I did get Vengeance of the Pirate Queen. This will be my next read after I'm done with the Stolen Heir duology. So I did finish Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen. This was a 4-star for both of these. I had a hard time getting through the second one. I honestly I felt like the story wasn't as interesting. I still gave it 4 stars because I enjoyed where we got to in the end. I also understand that this is YA. I'm not the target audience. I just wanted to read something that was not spicy. I wanted to take a break from the hardcore fantasy. This was really nice. It was really fun. And again, I understand I am not the target audience for this, but it's a still fun read if you like pirates. And I've never really read anything piratey other than the Ever King and the Ever Queen. But again, that's super spicy and adult. This was a good break. Plus, it's something I can recommend to my students. So I like reading something that I can recommend to the kids that I work with. So there's that. I have that whole trilogy now. Can't wait to jump into that. Then going back into my physical reads, I did read The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl Beats Up the Marvel Universe. I seem to be finding a trend here. While this was fun, I gave it 3 stars. I am just kind of learning that I may like superheroes and I may like movies and the TV shows. The comics aren't necessarily for me. I still have several volumes of comics that I would like to get through. It took me 2 or 3 days to read this, which is fine. I read it like downtime and whatnot, but it just didn't do it for me. I was really excited. I liked the premise. But I'm kind of learning that like traditional comics might not necessarily be for me. But it was still fun, but it just, in the end, it really wasn't for me. I did give it 3 stars because obviously it wasn't terrible. It just was not for me. This was one of my February reads, The Games the Gods Play. I loved this book. I cannot wait for the next one. I loved the witty banter. I loved the banter between Lyra and Hades. It was just fun. I also loved that, I liked the games aspect of this. It was just fun and entertaining, and I was craving the witty banter. I was looking forward to the trials in this, and the next one I'm just stoked for it because the ending it threw me off, but I'm so stoked for the next one. This was such a fun read. Oh, things I read on my Kindle. I read the Veiled Kingdom series. Literally I read all 3 books in 4 days. Short, sweet, spicy fantasy trilogy. It definitely scratched an itch for fast pace. Enemies to lovers. It was a 4, first book was a 4, second book was a 4, last book I gave 5 stars to. It was just very entertaining, and I loved every minute of it. I zipped through them all. Super fun, easy read. Again, it just scratched a certain itch. It was it was fast paced. There wasn't a lot of exposition. There was still a magic system, but it was still fun and easy to follow. I adored every second of that. Then I also read Metal Slinger, which was a solid 3 the whole way through for me. I thought the fantasy plot was very average. I thought that the male and female characters it felt very formulaic. The ending was a 5-star ending. My jaw was on the floor with the last couple pages. And so I ended up debating what I should rate it. I rated it a 3.75. Mostly just because, again, I felt like it was so formulaic for a romantasy story up until the end, and the ending had my jaw on the floor. I was so shook with how it ended. It looks like it's going to be traditionally published, I'm not sure when the sequel's coming out, but I'm very intrigued. Obviously, by the ending, it caught me off guard. I would like to continue reading the series as it comes out. But as I said, it was a solid 3 till I got to the end. I was on the fence. It took me pretty much a day and a half to give it a solid rating because I did not know what to rate it as. I also finished the Bargainer series. Again, I've talked about it a little bit before. I liked the trilogy as a whole. I really liked the novella. It really fleshed out Desmond's character. It was a solid 4-star series. Super fun. It was spicy. I recommended it for kind of, it's like an ACOTAR adjacent to me. I do understand why some people absolutely hate it, with the grooming aspect of it. I'm not going to get super into that, but I do know that that's a big reason why people don't like it. And I did enjoy it. I also read Catwoman in February. I did talk about that on my last reading video. Not for me, but I've officially read everything that Sarah J. Maas has published. I also I listened to Priest. I really thought I was going to enjoy it a lot more than I did. And then I had a really hard time with the main character comparing his love for Poppy to the Bible and his relationship with God. Really weirded me out. Pretty sure I'm going to equate that to religious trauma. So again, it just, I wanted to like it a lot more than I really did. So that was a 3-star read for me. Yeah, I had lots of spice. I also made the decision not to continue the series, even though the other brothers are not priests. I just was like, I'm just going to stop here. Not my thing, obviously. If that's what other people enjoy, that's totally fine. But I was very off-put by that comparison throughout. It really made like the rest of the book kind of icky for me. And again, I know that like, again, a priest breaking his vows for a beautiful woman falls into that taboo romance category already. I thought it would be something I'd be cool with. I was not. I also read Anathema by Carrie Lake. I know some people, again, just like the Shepherds duology I read, who ate up Anathema. Anathema, again, was a solid 4. I liked it. I liked the characters. I liked the world building. I thought it was really fun. It was not a ride or die for me. Will I read the next one? Absolutely. Will I recommend it to people who like that kind of spooky, witchy, gothic-y kind of thing? Absolutely. It just was not a 5-star for me. I was super entertained, super riveted, was into all of that stuff. But it didn't have that extra oomph to push it over for a 5-star for me. It was a solid 4. I also ended up down a weird rabbit hole on TikTok where I was getting recommended taboo / unhinged romances. One of the first that was recommended was a VeggieTales inspired romance called Pounded by Produce. This is by the same author who's written some Shrek romances. I read that puppy in like 2 hours. I gave it a 4-star. It was entertaining. It was spicy. I had a good time reading it. Was surprised how much I liked it, but it was just really fun. So I don't think I'm gonna do hopefuls moving forward because I don't honestly think I'll get to them. I just know like for work, I'm gonna read this next. For audiobook, I'm gonna do this next. So there is that. So I'm currently reading, like I said, The Prisoner's Throne. I am reading on my Kindle the Book of Azrael, which is book 1 of the Gods and Monsters series. I'm having not a love-hate with it. I like it. I like the kind of the whole gods thing, and monsters, ha ha ha. I'm liking it. It's just a slower read. It kind of reminds me, for everything I have read, it kind of feels more, it's not like Crescent City, but it's kind of got this, it's an urban fantasy. There you go. That's the word. I struggle with urban fantasies. So just because there's so much, like there's magic, but you also have modern technology and weapons. I struggle with urban fantasies a lot. So I'm enjoying it, but because it is a urban fantasy, I am struggling with it, with how quickly I am reading it. I just got to 50% last night and I've been reading it for like a week. And then the audiobook, again, I will be listening to Leather and Lark. I'd like to start that sometime this week. And then I may or may not also start listening to Deep End. I haven't decided 100% if that is what I am doing. Again, this is why I said it was low expectation, because again, March was a wash. I did no live streaming. I made no videos. I think I made 2 or 3 videos on my TikTok, and even then they were low hanging fruit. They were not very substanced at all. So yeah, that is everything that I read in February and March, and I'm currently reading. And yeah, that's it. Daniel did a lot of rambling and a lot of talking, and now I have to figure out how to edit this because I did a rewatch, and boy howdy were some of those cuts choppy. That's what I get for editing on Canva on my phone. But here we are. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will see you next time. Bye!